with Ray. First of all, Pastor, tell us about your church there in San Antonio.
It's a non-denominational, multicultural church, kind of situated in the heart of the city. Our demographics is almost an exact replication of the city, mostly Hispanic, secondarily Caucasian, and thirdly African-American. And they're led by an African-American senior pastor with a multiracial mix on the staff as well. So we are real happy about our situation.
Any white people?
Yes, about 60 or so percent of them are Hispanic, and about another 30 or so percent are white.
Okay, I was just kidding. You mentioned everybody. you mentioned all the races, and I didn't know if any white people were in there or not. We get overlooked a lot of times. So hey,
you're well represented.
Okay, thank you. Wanted to ask you, tell us the situation there that I read this article about concerning the San Antonio City Council.
Well, they want to add 2 new categories to our anti-discrimination clause. Those 2 categories being sexual orientation and gender identity. And we have obviously strong issues as a matter of free speech and freedom of conscience and the free exercise of religion, with the addition of those 2 categories to the anti-discrimination clause.
So what does that mean? Why did you decide to raise your voice?
Because it's an affront. It is an affront to the rights that we have as Americans on any issue to differ without being punished or held out of our voices held out of city government or out of the marketplace. If we differ on, this is America, we have the opportunity to differ. But this ordinance seems to want to shut out anyone who does not agree with the city of San Antonio's view on homosexuality, even to the point of making it a criminal offense and fining with a Class C misdemeanor and fined with a minimum of $500. I mean, that is totally unheard of. So we could not rest with that, and the city is rising up against it.
Are you talking about fining people for, like, could they potentially fine a pastor such as yourself if you preached a sermon on Romans chapter 1 where you said homosexuality in the Bible is...
Well, yes. This actually is in relationship to anyone speaking a contract. If it's a business on the business side, if I seek a contract with the city, I'm not agree with the city's take on homosexuality. Or I can't have a contract. Neither can any of my subcontractors have a contract. I mean, you would think that we're in Jim Crow South or something like that. It is just incredible that what they're trying to do through the law to silence the voice of the church and then make the marketplace, the governmental arena, a place where our voice is illegitimate.
Talking to Pastor Charles Flowers about what's going on in San Antonio with the San Antonio City Council. So they're wanting to, basically what you're saying is that they're wanting to adopt. Did they do it yet, or have they voted on it yet?
No, they have not voted on it yet, and there is strong opposition rising up because of folks like you at American Family that have alerted people outside of the city of San Antonio as well as the church within the city, and businesses are rising up against the ordinance. And I hope that when we have another conversation in a few weeks, that I'll be able to report to you that your listeners helped the church and the businesses here in San Antonio kill the ordinance.
What they're wanting to add, the San Antonio City Council, to this ordinance, it's called a consolidated ordinance, which,
right.
And what they're wanting to add 2 new definitions. This is basically what this is saying is the city will not do business with people who do not agree with what the city's policies are regarding such things as, and here they want to add, sexual orientation and gender identity. True?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
now, in the past, this has been the standard. Okay, you can't discriminate on racial basis, on somebody being handicapped, for example, and those kinds of things, right?
Right.
Okay, which is, everybody understands that. Those things are very reasonable, and everybody agrees with them. But then you're getting into such things as, let's add to it somebody's sexual behavior.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
this is. This is a full-on embracement of the homosexual lifestyle. And if you
Yes.
and if you or transgendered, just gender identity stuff that's sweeping the country, which is nuts. So you got this kind of stuff going on, and the city. Do you think the city council will pass it, or do you think they'll reject it, or do you don't know at this point?
I don't know at this point. I think that with the head of steam that we're building in opposition to it, my heart's conviction is that they won't pass it. I hope that holds out. But whether they pass it or not, it has done one thing of benefit here in the city of San Antonio, and that is to combine the voices of the church, because we understand where we are now. It's almost like this was a wake-up call, and we understand where we are, and we understand what actions we have to take in order to keep our social environment healthy for all people, including homosexuals and transgenders.
Right.
This is not to become a hostile environment. It's not animus against any group, although we don't disagree with the lifestyle and are unapologetic about it. The truth is that it's about free speech. We have an opportunity in this country still to speak freely on matters that we may differ on, and no one should tell us we can't speak freely about it.
Where can people read about this?
They can go to sahumanrightscoalition.com. sahumanrightscoalition.com.
What website is that?
That's it. That's ours.
That's you. Okay, I just want to make sure that's you. Okay.
Yeah.
SA Human Rights Coalition.com. Got you, Ray?
Pastor Flowers, just to be clear about this, we're not talking about here modifying it, taking out a sentence here or rephrasing. Really, this is so objectionable that we either want it withdrawn completely or voted down. Is that correct?
Absolutely. There is no room. You see, what would happen is that the activists that are in the LGBT community will take very cherished laws that have defended race and creed and color and disability and national origin. Those laws are dear to the heart of Americans. But activists would enter into that and begin to use those laws. And this is not a hyperbole. We know they already have. An ordinance like this has been passed in other places. And they will use it to target Christian businesses and make them comply with their sexual preferences. And we know that that's the case, and so does the ones who are swinging the door open for them know that.
Oh, yeah.
But we have caught it early enough, perhaps, that the Lord will allow us a victory in this thing, and I believe that is this point.
Talking to Pastor Charles Flowers. He is a senior pastor at the Faith Outreach International Church in San Antonio, and he's one of the gentlemen there, Christian leaders speaking out against this proposed change by the San Antonio City Council. Well, they'll add these terms to their non-discrimination policy, that is sexual orientation and gender identity. And what this means is the city will not do business with people or people that they do business with if you basically if you have anything objectionable to say or believe about homosexuality or transgendered, and this is chilling. Did I frame that right again, Pastor?
You did. You framed it correctly,
okay.
And you also said correctly that it is chilling.
It is chilling. Let me tell you what's happening here. And we talk about this often, folks, and we've got to fight back against this kind of stuff. That's why I'm proud to see Pastor Flowers and other Christians and really reasonable people, whether they're Christian or not, should stand up against this in San Antonio. But this is going on, folks, around the country. Maybe you don't hear about it because it doesn't happen in your neck of the woods. But let me tell you something. The persecution against Christians is beginning in the area of speech. We've talked about this before in Oregon. In Oregon, we talked about this a couple of days ago. You had a couple who runs a bakery. A homosexual couple came in and said, "We want a cake for our wedding." They said, "I'm sorry, we can't do that. Our Christian convictions won't allow us to do that. We have nothing against you. We're not but we can't do that. There's 100 other bakeries here you can go get a cake from. Well, they filed a complaint with the Oregon the State Department of Labor or whatever it was, and they have they're coming down on this couple, saying that we don't want to put you out of business, but we're going to rehabilitate you. In other words, your views on homosexuality are illegitimate, and so we're going to fine you or rehabilitate you. Tell you what, you know what happened with that photographer? Same thing in Colorado. I think it was Colorado, New Mexico.
Absolutely.
Where the photographer said, "Listen, you know, I'm sorry, I can't come shoot your gay wedding because I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that. You can get 100 other photographers here to do that if you want to, but I can't do it." Well, they went after him. I just 2 days ago, somebody emailed me from Kentucky, and they said there was a training of policemen in Kentucky, and they said the individual who's responsible for training the policemen referred specifically to the American Family Association, that's us, as being a hate group because of our views on homosexuality being just as the Christian church has had for 2,000 years. And so, Pastor, this is going on all over the country.
Yes. When did difference become hate?
I know.
And so now if you don't chime in with their description and don't agree with their definition of a lifestyle, you are now a hate group.
You're a hate group. You're a hate group, and we'll use the force of the law to come down on you.
Absolutely.
If you don't,
we can't rest with that here in the city of San Antonio. And a victory in this city is really a victory for every city, because we're really not only thinking about San Antonio. We're obviously we care about the the spiritual environment of our city. We have a responsibility to shepherd that, but we also understand that a victory here is a victory across the face of the nation.
What is your what's the website so people can read about what's going on there that you're heading up?
It's SA, as in San Antonio, SA HumanRightsCoalition.com.
Pastor Flowers, appreciate your time being on with us here on American Family Radio, and also God bless you for your leadership on this issue and standing up, being counted, not running away, not backing down, not being shy. Not being a coward, like quite frankly so many people are today. When they're challenged on issues like this, they just run away, and we can't. We don't have to be ugly about it, but we got to stand up and we've got to be counted.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Blessings to y'all.
And same to you, Pastor Charles Flowers of the Faith Outreach International Church in San Antonio.
Hey, sounds like a good guy, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Taking a strong stand for what's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. We'll be back after the break. Tim with Ray. Thank you for listening. American Family Radio is the network you're tuned into. Today's Issues is the program. We shall return momentarily.